All right. Welcome everyone. I think we're live. I think we are live, and we went live actually with the vote number one of the seed round. Only to whitelisted participants at the moment, and we are a third of the way there, which is great. With only whitelisted participants. I don't have like sorry, I'm going to. So what I was not recording is talking about much. Last few days is this Launchpad implementation. That was honestly very fun. So now, I mean, everyone can see it now. Everyone can see this stuff. It's definitely been rock and roll. We've had the DeFi hack of the hack of Drift, the perp dex, and when I first deployed the contract, we actually had nothing serious came out of this, but on testnet, one of the contract got exploited for. It was very weird. It was a very weird thing, but rest assured, everything is just good. But it's been fun. I think I've pushed quite a bit on this stuff, and that was good. I think it's a great milestone. I think regardless of the outcome, so I have to look at some messages just to make sure I'm monitoring the situation a lot. Just want to make now I have like PTSD from DeFi stuff. I want to make sure everything just looking good, and obviously everything's just looking good so far. But it's been a pleasure. We actually haven't discussed about the seed round so much. I did not want to push it too much. I think what was weird here is a big spike in interest like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then that plateaued a bit, which I think the takeaway from this is trying to understand when you have the most momentum and trying to seize that momentum a lot more, and that in the current bear market, like things can fade away really quickly. So it's a good takeaway, I think, for Vault 2 on how to best approach this. I think this is the first Vault with pre-products, pre-revenues. So I think this is the hardest one, and then things will just be much better from here. The app is coming together. One of the big struggle we had was the uptime, and the uptime is look at this beta uptime 100%, and production uptime we haven't had a degradation in services in forever now. So it's a big win, because the metric we have internally is we don't want to like downtime is super bad for us because we've had cases of folks that got like had stop loss, and then because the services were down, stop loss did not pick up, and then they hit the daily loss, and then obviously a user then is pissed. But as next the next big milestone is actually releasing the product fully, and we'll communicate about the date exactly. For us, number one KPI is downtime. And so uptime. If we take the inverse, that's the number one thing I'm looking at, and we also have to think a bit more deeper at. We saw what happened to Drift today or last night, and it's we're building on top of Hyperliquid, so it's like, what do we do? One of the big USPs of the firm of Propr is A, booking, and obviously, if someone was building a prop firm on top of Drift and only B booking, so B booking only through simulated environment, that would not happen. They would have not been hit. But if you take an A booking route, you would have taken a hit, and we have to think of ways in which we have to implement this. Anyway, in terms of, unless you guys have questions about the raise, it's not that I'm not taking it for granted. I'm obviously very happy, and it doesn't show on my face. I'm not the guy that would show any sign. It's super hard to read me. Anthony from Swissborg keeps telling me I would be good at poker. But I honestly want to be 100% focused on the product. This raise is to the eyes of the product, and the amount that we're raising in total is not super meaningful. What we've just released, actually just before, I was actually very stressed, like opening the app, well, the launchpad, because just some DeFi stuff. Like you would go crazy to see the alerting systems we have on this app, just to make sure things are, like, everything is just running smoothly, and that everything looks like good. So to me, it's a relief, and then the outcome, I think things will be okay. We've added a GitHub. One thing that I think would be super cool to look at is how can we go from some guy like mentions on Discord that we can eventually be connected to TradingView, and I want to look at this implementation on if we can on how to do it, and that is more for technical discussion. But the way we would be interesting to give it a try now, actually, to see if we can give it a try. I'm not sure if we're up for it today, but it would be a fun stuff to build now. Just so we align, like, next big step for us is if you've invested and you care about, like, what's the next big steps. Next big step is obviously app release. Going live with an incentive program, that's up next. And then the new markets. So Solana as a main market is going to be well, as one big new market. It's going to be pretty cool. I think Solana, if you were to ask me when this is going out, it's probably next 4 weeks or so. 4 or 5 weeks if we want to take some additional buffer. And let me try and find out how can we connect let's see how can we connect a TradingView strategy into, so how to turn TradingView strategy into automated exchange orders. Let's see. It looks like we can, I'm wondering if we can just point our API. When the community member or app user mentioned that, I was like, it was actually for, I woke up for like Trump's speech. Trump's speech was at 5 or so. Yeah, 5 a.m. I woke up at 3. So the message was like, yeah, let's implement. And then it's actually like, yeah, it's going to take a lot more time. So I held off on this, but we might. Alright, so the way it works. So you need a webhook URL. So we need to adapt the system so that, okay, wait. So on Bybit, apparently you can do this. Wait, let's see, connect TradingView with Bybit. If Bybit does it, then it's interesting. To connect TradingView with Bybit, log into and access. Ah. I think it's gonna be a stretch to be like a renowned broker. I'm sure there's a big fee as well. Okay. So we need to have a webhook system. A webhook, if you guys don't know, is it's like an API that just like where you can just send data over. And then based on that, that JSON is going to take some action, and it's a different architecture. But I think we can build like a relay service in between. The issue would be latency if we have a relay service. But if I wanted to be crazy today, I would just build that relay service. And we could actually vibe code this service on top of our system, and just would be a proof of concept, not be something that we go live with. Just monitoring the sale quickly, make sure everything's just running smoothly. Okay. Yeah, no, things are running smooth. Okay. All right, let's dig deeper into the Bybit integration and see if we can. If we pull this off today, it'd be insane. But now I don't know why you asked me, but like, I'm really excited because that sale is just over. Well, it's ongoing. Now we can focus on product stuff. All right, so let's see. Welcome, Bybit. All right, let's see this stuff. I think this article is going to be good. Okay, TV Hub. Has anyone used that before? What we're essentially trying to do is because I've checked, like not many prop firms do this stuff, and I think it's interesting. TV Hub is, what is TV Hub? And I'm sure it's super well known. I'm just such a boomer. Okay. An API key. Okay. Ah, wait, can we actually use TV Hub as the relay service? Let's check. If that's the case, then that's absolutely banger. Let's see. Let me actually try and see if we can just create an account. If some of you guys have questions about the market, I'm also happy to take a look. I'll create the account of stream. So if TV Hub is that relay service, we're really good, and we could eventually push that. I mean, it would just be updating the doc, because that would mean no integration on our side, which is really cool. Okay. Ah. Alright, apparently, okay, TV Hub is only for renown exchanges. Alright, so that was a bad attempt. Apparently we can't use unless went over this too fast. We can't do this stuff. I saw a prop firm that was doing some pretty neat automation, and I wanted to take a look. What's the trying to check. Ideally, we improve the automation today. I don't necessarily want to do this this relay service. Okay, let's see fund it next. Let's see if fund it next. Okay, so apparently they were on TradingView, so eventually it's something we can add on the roadmap. Okay, so let's try. I'm pretty sure we just have to get to the bottom of this TradingView and see if we can just do it ourselves. All right. Webhook Trade is a platform where you can API brokers. Okay. Let's give this a try. That looks to me that this is a relay service. Let's see if we can get cooking with this. It'd be really cool. All right, cool. Let's see if okay, they only allow selected brokers. That sucks. I feel like we're getting into a rabbit hole. Okay, so we can't. How does it work? Okay, so that's not working. I'm pretty sure they'll just force me to build this myself. But I think it would be a great business actually. If you can, because with AI you'll be able to, well, one can argue you can have an automation layer. Well, this TradingView stuff is not required. So as I understand, you would have our system here, or you make a post request, and then that would generate the trade, I assume. And then okay. Let's see. I think I might not attempt, not sure. Wait, you guys don't see actually my screen. Fuck. I was showing something all along and you guys were not telling me. You know what? Let's ask Claude if let's say with Propr, how can I connect webhooks from TradingView to my system? Do I need a relay service? Pretty sure it's gonna tell me yes. Let's see. I think if this takes me more than an hour, I'm probably not gonna. I have a lot more stuff to do. Maybe we can just review the market and then just call it quit. Okay. The standard. Okay. Okay, receives validate the secret map signal. Okay. Okay. Alright, Claude is really baiting me into this stuff. It's just telling me it's probably a 2 to 3 hour build. VS paying for SAS relay. So how do you translate the webhook into actual trades with stop loss and CP? Let's see if we can build this stuff. We also we've just published our SDK. Well, our GitHub doc, sorry. Thank you. You can check this. Let's see, because now he's going to be able to read the docs and tell us exactly. If we can build a quick relay service, I would actually do it. Oh, wait, is this private? Is this a private repo? No, it's a public repo, interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be not the easiest build because I need to. Let me check against the actual code base what it's going to tell me. You know what? I think it's not going to be super relevant to you guys if I do it now. Might be like after this stream, I try and grind this out because I need to access the code base and like I can't share some stuff. I did do a market overview this morning. And it was not, the outlook is that we're range bound. We pull up the charts. So we're heavily short, first and foremost. The rationale for keeping the short was, we've entered at 68, 500. That was, you have this pretty clear structure now, like you're making lower lows on a low time frame. And I think now your invitation for being short and covering your short or flipping long even is if you can take out, this level here. Because I would, very low time frame, I would like invalidate the structure. Now we also have Trump that's, I think everyone was expecting a taco. Well, not a taco, but at least de-escalation. And you've got Trump pretty much saying that this is at least gonna go on for 2 to 3 weeks, which means that the Strait of Hormuz is gonna stay open for the same time. Well, it's gonna stay closed for at least this amount, and then this will have repercussions for a lot longer. And this is what the market's now trying to price in, is how do we price in this disruption to basically this energy crisis. And when you have so many bad news and you're in a bear market, it would take insane relative strength to have to flip long. And I think you're just better off holding on the short positioning until you see further strength, or you're hitting prices that are low enough. I'm not like a super bear. I think the prices, if you look at a year from now, will look very um, attractive here. For now, they're just not really like we're pretty. I think we're pretty much in the bottoming phase of the market. But that being said, bottoming just takes time, so you can still play the ranges however you like. Personally, like on the challenge, we are at 220 now. So great UPNL. I think that's mainly derived from, I mean, actually both BTC and Hype shorts. My targets for the BTC short from here is actually not so. It's more time based than price based. I think because the market is still not very liquid, things can escalate really quickly. And you can easily take out this week low from February. But I think with 62, the thing is, anytime you have a position open, you have to think if you're short, even if we're short from like 68, if you have your short open still at 62, that means you would be happy to retake this short again from 62. Whilst I think 62 is a very different trade. Like shorting at 62 would mean that you're betting on a range breakdown, and I think this is a very different trade that we took initially. So I take the 60, 63, 62. I'll be out, and then look for longs in the region. But I have to say it depends on the time specifically. If I see that let me actually check something now. If I see that we're dropping an insane amount, and we're not, for example, here when you had BTC that was just free falling, I think what's good is if you have a strong downtrend. On the way down with shorts. And that would be my approach if we really, let's say you have the US that does a ground invasion in Iran, then I would probably do a trailing stop type thing, because you can quickly have some very nasty price action, or let's say a leader makes a comment about further disruption on the energy crisis, etc. I think this can lead to a very strong market pullback. And yeah, I think, would I short here? Like, would I retake a short here? I don't, like, I would take the thing is now your risk reward is not so good. But at least the invalidation is clear. Like you have even you can assume whenever we had the Trump speech and then take that trade to take from 66 to 62, that's basically your trade right here. What I'm how I'm gonna manage it is probably cut break even if that goes to my break even level. And for hype specifically, I think this doesn't look so good. I think you want to cut at like 30. Also, you bring me 30 and sustain um, be covering shorts. I did mention it this morning, but covering shorts and longing is two very different things. Like if I see a lot of new traders trying to always have a positioning, but I think this is very wrong to always assume you have to take a side. So if, for example, if covering at 62 makes for a great, is a great trade that you've closed, longing at 62 is a very different story. And I think longing 62 is a big red flag if you don't have a reversal pattern. So typically, the way this would happen is as you don't want to have BTC that does something like this, and then you don't want to enter blindly here. You want to wait for prices to be higher, and that might mean you enter at 63 instead of 62, but you'll place your invalidation at the lower low, and then that makes for good risk management. We are pretty loose on risk management. Waitlist is not working. Is it closed? What's the issue specifically? I'm not sure what you refer to on the waitlist. So yeah, my point is, if this is a great place to close your cover your shorts, doesn't mean it's a good place to to go long. And as I did say, you can be pretty loose on risk management, like we were from. No, we were short from 66 all the way to 74. Obviously, you have to have a good base assumption that it's a bear market. But on the long side, you're fighting the high time frame, and that means your risk management really needs to be on point. And I don't use stop loss. My stop loss framework is because I do big orders. So not on hyperliquid. On hyperliquid, I haven't done let's say a 7-figure trade. I think the national we have on BTC now is like 600K. But the issue is once you have let's say 5 million or 10 million national in some positions, then the stop losses don't, trailing stops, etc. Anything that gets executed in the market just doesn't work. So you have to put limit orders, like layered orders, and the thing is your execution is then really bad. You take a ton of slippage. Like for example, if you place a bid like a limit stop and then another limit stop close to it, then your limit stop 1 is gonna trigger your limit stop A, and then you're fucked. So I usually don't put stops. Like in a bull market, I don't put long stops, but in a bear market, I would have to put long stops, and then take some pretty large damage on slippages. It's something that you learn when you manage a bit more size, and that actually makes trading with the current like hyperliquid account a lot more fun and enjoyable. All right, and I think we'll just end the stream now. I actually have a few things I have to answer. And I see you tomorrow. To anyone that participated in the seeds, thanks so much. You don't, and like, if you haven't, you don't have to. You can just use the products, and we'll just be happy with this. This is Vault 1. There will be some more. So yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in, and I see you